Hey everybody, what's going on? Rob Cesternino back here with another edition of the week's most interesting news stories for the week of Tuesday, March 14th, 2017, here on News AF.
If a story is buzzing like it's on crystal meth, it's about to be News AF.
That's right.
News makes you bored to death. It's time for some News AF. Actual, factual news.
Yes, that's right. The actual factual news. Almost forgot to start recording the show this week. It would have been a disaster in the making, but not this week. Tyson Apostle is down in beautiful San Diego, California. Tyson, how are you?
Great. Live from Padres country, bro.
All right. You mean your dad?
Fathers.
Yes.
Padre is, yep. No, my dad's not from here, but, you know, they have the baseball team down here. People don't seem that upset about the Chargers leaving. I thought that they were upset, but apparently they're not.
I think they were mad. I think it was a bad breakup. I think that they were screw them.
Well, they're over it now.
Yeah. You know,
so
when the weather's that nice, hard to be mad at different things going on locally.
What did you say?
When the weather is that nice, hard to be too upset about anything.
It's fantastic. We're going to go to the beach today.
Okay. Wow.
Hard life.
All right.
Yeah.
And then a man who is also similarly like the residents of San Diego, never angry, Danny Bryson. Danny, how are you?
I'm doing great, and I'm wondering if Tyson was brainwashed by all those adverts on Hulu about going to San Diego. Do you feel like those influenced your decision to go there?
I didn't even see those.
Oh my gosh!
Hulu knows,
other show.
Maybe Hulu knows you're my friend, and I'm in San Diego,
and Danny's an influencer.
Yeah.
How creepy would it be if Hulu showed me pictures of you having fun in San Diego?
Oh my goodness! From my phone that I hadn't uploaded anywhere.
Yeah. That would be real advertising. Like, look
that
at what
really
you're missing out on.
That's the
your
future.
Best friend. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, it's still warm
Rob,
here. It's 70 degrees.
Oh, yes. That's as warm as it is here. Rob, have you been influenced by Hulu to come to San Diego with us too?
I haven't been to San Diego in a couple of years, but I have been thinking about like, oh, maybe in a couple of months when the Survivor season is over, maybe I should go away with my family. And it's just like, it's such a trap that I know, like in my head, I'm like, yeah, I should do something. The kids are only little for a little while. I should take them somewhere. We should do something. But this weekend, I took my son to the park and I rented a paddle boat. And I said, look, son, we're having an adventure. And he was just like, can we just go to the park? Can we just go to the playground? Like, I don't like this boat. Like, no, this is great.
Oh, nice.
And then we don't think that we left before he was hysterical crying over that he needed to go buy some, like, there was like some woman with like a tent full of like, you know, toys she bought from the dollar store trying to sell stuff at the park. And, you know,
well,
my legs don't work. My legs don't work. You need to carry me. I was like, why did I waste my time, you know, trying to be nice to my kids?
You know what? That sounds like my day. So yesterday, this is probably going to upset some. I went to SeaWorld for educational purposes and as a secret spy to see if they were up to code.
Yes.
And yeah, nearing the end of the day, Bergen, I mean, she missed her nap. Bergen's a great child, but she missed her nap. And she was having a meltdown because they were closing the park and she was playing in the playground. So she just lays on her face and just starts screaming face down on the ground, like kicking. And it's really great because she's like, doesn't want to hurt herself, but wants to make a point. So she's very gentle about throwing a tantrum. And then a mom walks by and she's like, see, that was you a little while ago, she says to her daughter. And then I look around and like, 90% of the kids are having meltdowns. And I was like, I never realized this, but at the end of the day at a amusement park, that's how it is. It's like every kid is just having a meltdown because they all missed their naps. They all missed their snack time. They all missed everything.
Everybody's off routine.
Everybody's off routine and they're just going berserk. And I was like, I'll have to remember this for the podcast tomorrow so I can talk about it. That's what went through my mind.
I want to go back to the lady selling toys from a tent.
Yeah.
That sounds like
okay.
That sounds like something that needs to be addressed. I
Yeah.
mean, why
Danny,
your kids going
in
into a
Los
stranger's
Angeles,
tent?
there's a lot of people that are let's call them unlicensed vendors.
Okay.
They go around. Whether you're at a traffic light and there's a man with a bag of oranges, whether there is a woman who is wandering around from restaurant to restaurant with roses. There is a person with some sort of like refrigerated or at least insulated bucket selling ice cream to kids different places. People will just set up shop and try selling junk to you anywhere. There's a woman who sets up and makes hot dogs wrapped in bacon outside of a bar. They just like go ahead and they're just gonna try to sell you stuff wherever.
So what's
Did
worse?
Dominic want one of the toys?
Yeah.
Yes, that's all he cares about is toys. He doesn't want to do anything else except for get more
Collect toys.
Right.
Do you
Okay.
want to buy toys from a woman in a tent or a man in a van with tinfoiled out windows?
Either one. He would not care.
That's a perfect. Yeah, that's perfect. Kids don't care. They don't need a Toys R Us.
He
I
loves
guess.
his toys.
Yes. All right. Well, we'll get into all the news stories. Just to mix it up this week, let me give you the link to get this podcast in the iTunes store at the top. And if you feel that we have earned our keep, feel free to give us a star rating at any point along the way. Go to newsaf.news for the link. And later on, Tyson will bring you some of our newest reviews from the iTunes store. You too can get your review read on the podcast. Newsaf.news. Only honest, actual, factual reviews only. We're not saying stuff the ballot box and just give us 5 stars. Only if we earn it.
Mm-hmm.
Only if we earn it, guys. Make us earn that.
Make us
real
earn those
hard.
stars. Okay. This is a very interesting story that comes to us out of the world of legal news this week, as this man that you see up behind me was defending his client. He's a lawyer. He's a Miami lawyer. And his pants, ironically, in this arson case, spontaneously burst into flames as he was making closing arguments to the jury in this arson case. Stephen Gutierrez, who is the lawyer here, his pants ended up smoldering in the courtroom, and then he ran out of the courtroom, Danny, and returned, and his pants had gotten all burned up.
I already know what the punchline is here, right? The whole liar, liar, pants on fire. That's why this story is so probably blowing up.
That's why it's topical. Sure, yeah.
What was in his pants?
So what his story
Other than-
is that he had like some sort of e-cigarette, which was starting to malfunction, not some sort of Samsung Galaxy Note 7, but actually an e-cigarette. And he says that was the cause of the case. But others suspect, was he trying to, because it was an arson case, was he trying to prove a point or make his case based on the fact that his pants ended up going on fire? Or was he planning on like some grand pyrotechnic gesture in front of the jury to prove something?
Yeah.
To prove spontaneous
Well, first of all,
combustion.
there's lots.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's lots of things that a person can handle that'll cause them to catch fire. The Samsung phone, an e-cigarette, if he was on the hoverboard. So that's why I asked, because there's a lot of potential things that just wait to explode. Even iPhones have, there's been a couple reports of iPhones catching fire. But spontaneous combustion is probably more likely than any of those.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's a well-documented event.
It happens. People just burn up right in their sleep.
Wow.
Mhm.
Yeah. You didn't
They
know
don't burn
about
up
that,
because
Rob?
They drop a cigarette they were smoking.
You're talking about spontaneous combustion or when things catch on fire?
Spontaneous combustion.
Yeah, I feel like that was a thing that we used to hear about more. Like, I remember like there being like unsolved mysteries type episodes of shows.
Yeah.
A lot of talk about spontaneous combustion. And I'm surprised in this, rampant internet, Facebook news era, we don't hear much about spontaneous combustion.
Or cold
the
fusion.
reason we don't is because back then, when people spontaneously combust, they were covered in like whale blubber and turpentine and people just aren't covered in those substances anymore.
Okay, so you feel that the spontaneous combustion was because of chemical compounds that they were handling, Danny?
Yeah, people were handling all sorts of weird stuff way back when. I mean, they're covered in lamp oil and whatever, so they were just prone to exploding into flames.
Oh, okay. So luckily, people are not handling too many compounds like that at this point. But is this what happened to that lawyer with his pants, Danny? Was he a whale blubber enthusiast?
Maybe he had just been out on a whaling vessel and he had rushed back to court to defend the case or whatever. And he stood a little too close to whatever it is that causes spontaneous combustion, and bam, he's up in flames.
That's what he gets for handling whale blubber, you know?
Yeah. Now, everybody is looking to the lawyer here. How come nobody is questioning the client, the person who was on trial for arson, Mr. Claudie Charles Tyson? Isn't he the most likely suspect to have ignited his lawyer's pants?
You would think so, but, innocent until proven guilty, Rob.
Yeah, do we need a trial for that?
Yeah, so now we got a separate trial with the same suspect for arson.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you're thinking?
Nobody's accusing him. Nobody's saying that it was him.
Oh, but you think we should look at him because he's the most likely, since he was the most likely in the previous arson case.
Yes, well, he was already on trial for arson. And again, innocent until proven guilty. But I think that everybody is just going with that it was an e-cigarette on the part of the lawyer.
Wow. The lawyer got off, proving his point. Man, I can't believe that they let him do that. Now he's going to win the case because he's like, I just proved spontaneous combustion. If I can spontaneously combust in front of your eyes right now, then how likely is it that everything else has spontaneously combusted?
Yeah, well, that would be pretty huge to do it live on a YouTube video. If you were going to spontaneously combust.
This would be the place
I think
to do
so.
it.
Yeah. What do you think this guy's going to show us that cold fusion actually is a thing too after
this?
What
does cold fusion do?
Cold fusion is like hot fusion, but cold.
Yeah. See, I don't even know what fusion is. Danny, do you know about cold fusion?
Okay, I think there's fission and there's fusion, right?
Cold fission. Cold fission.
Fission.
No, fission is I think the hot version. It's basically the reaction that takes place on the sun. Fusion, I don't know, is a mythical force that Dumbledore uses to heat Hogwarts.
No, cold fission was supposed to be the thing that you could do with the same as hot fission without the temperatures. So it was going to change.
Is cold fission a kinky sex move?
No,
Maybe
that's early spring
cold.
donkey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me Google it.
Okay. So there's a photo of the lawyer from this article that I'm reading in the Miami Herald. And the lawyer's name, of course, is Stephen Gutierrez. His law website is thelawdoctor.net. Danny, is that a confidence-inspiring website for the lawyer? Thelawdoctor.net.
Yeah, he's a lawyer and a doctor.
I don't know if he is a doctor.
He's a doctor of jurisprudence.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
so he
why
is a
does he have to be the law doctor? I mean, I would prefer if he was the law lawyer.
Well, because a law doctor, that's technically what they are. Doctors of the law. That's the degree they get.
The law doctor.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like mixing up metaphors here.
Should we circle back to cold fusion?
Sure. Yes.
It is cold fusion.
Yes.
Nuclear fusion occurring at or close to room temperature. Claims for its discovery in 1989 are generally held to have been mistaken. So scientists came out and were like, we did it. Now we don't have to have a trillion degrees to do fusion anymore. But they were mistaken. And if I'm not mistaken further, I think it was some Utah scientists who actually claimed to have discovered cold fusion.
Yeah, but it's a myth. It's not real.
It's supposed. Well, nobody's been able to replicate the cold fusion since these guys said they did it. And in 89, you know, there weren't any video cameras or anything to document any stuff.
Yeah, back in 89.
Yeah.
So Kirsten in the chat room is saying that fission is dividing and fusion is fusing. And this isn't, and isn't this about the nucleus of the cell to generate energy? She's not a scientist, but she did take grade 12 physics.
Yeah, that's right. All of
that's
that's
like
right.
She's smarter than all three of us combined.
Yeah, but she's probably closer to her 12th grade physics class than we are. I'm like 20 plus years removed from that now.
That's fair.
So that's fair, right?
That's fair. So, Danny, do you think that fusion could possibly be an explanation of why this lawyer's pants burst into flames?
Well, here's one theory.
Pants.
Maybe his pants were brushing against each other so quickly. He has a short stride, and he was pacing as fast as he could to get to court on time. And just the friction alone heated up his pants to the point of combustion.
I feel like if that were the case, they could inspect his inner thighs and see if they're calloused.
Yeah. It also it was not a spontaneous combustion. That, again, according to the article, that people in the courtroom say that he had been fiddling in his pocket as he was about to address.
Oh, so you think it was something sexual?
Well, who knows? Who's to say?
So it could have been a fusion of a different. Could have been a hot fusion in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not
the old hot fusion. Giving himself a hot fusion.
Is it fusion or fission?
No, that's a hot fusion when you do it to yourself.
So I think we got the the hashtag for the day.
Yeah. Now, is it possible that he just knew his client was not going to be or that was definitely going to be found guilty, and then he just created a diversion to run out of the courtroom?
I think it was maybe a last-ditch effort to just prove that stuff can sometimes just start on fire. But in fiddling with himself, he probably has to go on the sex offenders registry now because he was in front of a lot of people there.
I don't know if they have sentenced him to the sex offenders registry at this point. So,
well, Florida has a law on its books that says you can't give yourself a hot fusion in public.
That's very frowned upon, especially in the courtroom. Okay, let's talk about another story that making the rounds this week. And hey, Danny, do you remember Boaty McBoatface, the British science vessel, which was named by the internet?
How can we forget?
Yes. Well, it looks like that the boat, which is not actually called Boaty McBoatface, or did they end up calling it Boaty McBoatface?
They named the little drone vessel Boaty McBoatface, but refused to name the main boat.
So so they named the actual ship the Royal Research Ship Sir David Attenborough. But Boaty McBoatface is going to be this little tiny yellow thing that's going to go out. And so for its first mission, the drone submarine is going to head out and collect information on how global warming is impacting oceans. And it's set to launch in 2019, Tyson. Should we start the countdown?
Yes, let us start the countdown now. Do you have a timer that goes that long?
I'm sure we can get one. We can start an app, save the date for 2019. Now, Danny, you have piloted a few drones in your day. Are you up to commanding Boaty McBoatface?
I am offering my services to the British Marine, whatever, to pilot this drone on its maiden voyage through the ice. I will do that.
Okay.
And what is your stance on hot fusions?
I will not, while operating the drone, give myself a hot fusion. I'll even put that in the contract.
Okay.
But I am free to give myself as many hot or cold fusions later when I'm done working.
After.
Yes, you're even gonna think of doing some room temperature fusions.
Yeah. Although would hot fusion help Boaty McBoatface get through the ice, Danny?
Only if it had laser beams for eyes, where it could eject or ejaculate the hot fusion into the ice to melt.
Yeah,
that's why it's so hard to find a pilot that's willing to pilot it without hot fusion, because most of them are like, we have to use hot fusion.
Yeah.
So
I don't even know what we're
that's why
talking
that's why Danny's offer is particularly enticing at the moment to the British Navy or the Royal Navy or whoever's piloting this thing.
But should I successfully navigate this vessel through the ice without the use of hot fusion, I want the queen to put her sword on my shoulder.
And night.
Oh yeah,
Sir Danny.
She'll flop her sword right on your shoulder, bro.
Yes. So that's my only demand.
Okay. Another story from this week. Luis Gutierrez sent us the story about researchers at a lab in California are claiming they found a way to upload information to people's brains while they were asleep in order to help them learn new skills faster through brain stimulation.
Whoa.
Tyson, is this something that you might be interested in?
Yes. Is this in San Diego? It says California. Is this in San Diego?
It is. It's a vending machine at SeaWorld.
Okay. So it's a vending. I saw that vending machine. It was $75.
Yeah, you didn't think to use it.
So here's the thing. What would you choose first to have uploaded to your brain? What type of mixed martial arts?
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about how to do all sorts of different fusion and fission.
No.
Danny already knows how to do hot fusion.
I can teach you after the podcast if you want to know.
Okay, good.
Rapid
but cold
heating.
fusion is the one that we think is scientifically impossible, but maybe it's not.
It's only possible in Antarctica
Mm-hmm.
or
Yeah.
North Pole or, where just anywhere where it's cold.
Yeah, I feel like we're gonna get a lot of like secret spy guys now. If you can go to a vending machine or the Apple store and pay like $100 to get some new skills uploaded to your brain, everybody's gonna go and be like, give me like ninja skills.
I don't need skills. I need to remember the names of people I encounter,
Mm-hmm.
like continually encounter, and can't remember any of their names. Is that a possibility?
What's my name?
No, I don't think that that's going to be through brain upload. You need to be like wear like Google Glass and have like Terminator vision, and then it'll like.
Oh yeah, facial recognition.
Yeah, that's the technology I need right now because I don't know anybody's name, but they all know mine.
Yeah, it'll like bring up
Here's
like their
what I think you should do.
profile on the side.
Danny,
Yes.
you remember all the times you've hot fusioned. Now, if you can attach those people's names with that memory, then it will never.
Yeah.
Danny, have you tried using a mnemonic device where you give the person a nickname in your head that has like alliteration?
Here's the problem. Hello, I'm so-and-so. Oh, how are you doing? By that moment, I've already forgotten who they said they were.
No, you got to just keep saying it over and over and over
So
again.
when they say who they are, I just need to repeat their name over and over and ignore the rest of the conversation.
Yep.
Yes.
Sounds difficult.
No. I had a guy come up to me yesterday who was a fan of Survivor at SeaWorld, and he got a picture. Well, he came up and said he was a big fan. Then he left. Then he came back and was like, "Can I get a picture with you?" And I remembered his name, and that made him feel really great.
Yeah.
And now, as I'm recanting this story to you, I forgot his name.
That's okay. I think in the,
In the moment, it was good enough, right?
How about this? How about I download whatever it is, whatever ninja move you can use to help people forget, like that pinch you do on their neck?
The Vulcan neck pinch.
Yeah, so after they tell me, "Oh, hey, how's it going, Danny?" I pinch them so they forget that we had the encounter.
Ah.
That would be worth it.
I think that probably what you're looking for is more of a Vulcan mind meld.
Because the neck pinch just makes them pass out.
Or just give him a forget me now or a roofie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always have a drink ready. Oh, hey, here. You want a sip of my drink? I got to go.
See ya.
Boy, that's a lot of work to get out of that you didn't remember somebody's name.
It's just awkward because then I see them again and they know my name and I don't know theirs. And I think they know that I don't know theirs.
Yeah,
and
you're like, "Hey, dude. Yeah,
hey,
man.
Bro.
Okay, bro. Uh-huh."
Have you ever done the move where you're not quite sure and you just sort of mumble the name?
Yes, of course.
And here's the other thing I like to do is you go so far to the other side, like you're like, "Oh, hey, Brian." And you know their name's obviously not Brian. And they laugh because it's a funny joke. And then they're like, "Haha, good one." But then they, at least sometimes they'll correct you.
Yeah. I like Rob's idea.
So-
It's kind of like when you see those words where it's a word that you know, but all the letters are mixed up and your brain still figures out the word. You hope you can do that verbally by saying all the right letters and they'll just assemble
in
it
the
their
correct
brain.
order.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be in the correct order; just has to be there.
A B.
Yeah, Danny,
A B R
tried to
N.
introduce
Yeah.
them to another person, like bring another person into the mix.
Oh,
But I don't have
that's
any
the
other
worst.
persons.
Oh.
But that's also the worst because you're like, oh, hey, yeah, this is my friend Tyson.
How about this move,
And then
Danny?
you stand there.
How about say, like, oh, I need your phone number. Could you put your stuff into my phone?
Well, I could do that, but
No.
then they're gonna call me.
You have their
No.
number. They don't have your
Yeah,
number.
they're gonna ask. Yeah, but they're gonna be like, "Oh, can I get your number as well?" No.
Yeah, text me right now.
Yeah, but at least
Text
you'll have
me
the
right
caller
now.
ID to tell you who's calling.
Yeah, actually, that is. If you could find some way to say, "Oh, hey, I've been interested in doing such and such with you. Could you send me your info?"
Yeah,
That would
and
be
they say, oh,
nice.
how do you spell your name?
Normally, I just look at the ground and walk the other way, and that seems to work pretty well. But sometimes you just can't avoid them if it's like
Yeah.
a tight hallway or something.
Yeah, how do you spell
Yeah.
it is a good one unless their name is like it's Bob, it's B-O-B.
Maybe I should just
How
go.
can I know it's Bob with two B's?
Maybe I should just straight up say, "Look, I know we've met each other like 10 times, and I don't know your name. What is it?" Would that be bad?
Yeah,
That would probably be bad.
no, that's the best. No, that's the best because that's so refreshing. Honesty is so refreshing, Danny.
Mhm.
It is. It's
More
like
refreshing
a
than
cold
that.
can of Sprite.
DP, you're guzzling.
Cold
Oh, are you
fish.
drinking Sprite?
No, I'm drinking Coke Zero because I saw this video where this guy boiled Coke Zero and Coke Regular, and the goop that
Mhm.
was left after Coke Regular was so disgusting that I automatically switched to Zero.
What did Coke Zero look
Yeah,
like
but-
after you boiled it?
Almost nothing. But
Mm.
the Coke
Yeah, but that's
Regular had
because
like
there's
this,
no sugar in it.
yeah, the Coke Regular had like this black
syrup.
tar you could have used to fill cracks
Yeah.
in the street.
Oh,
It was gnarly.
there are a lot
So
of
is
cracks.
that his proof? So is boiling the drinks down his proof of saying that Coke Zero is healthier than Coke regular?
It's well, yeah, it's definitely healthier, or it looks healthier. The appearance is healthier, the end
Yeah.
result. But I don't know about the
Yes.
real science.
Yeah. No, there was no real science done.
Yeah, what's
No.
your take? What's healthier, Coke Zero or Coke Regular?
I think they're both unhealthy in their own right. I mean, you have the
Mhm.
artificial sweeteners in a Coke Zero, and then you have a lot of sugar, and then you have the food coloring in both. So the caramel coloring.
Well,
So I think,
yeah, but at the end of the day, it's not going to matter because just think about this. This goes back to the article we just had. If we can download stuff to our brain, it's only a matter of time, and probably not a lot of it, till we can put our brain into something else. So why
what would
hold
you
on to
put your
this
brain
physical
into?
body? I don't know. I thought we all agreed we were going to put our brains together in something.
Yeah, we were.
It's a good question. I think that this is everybody's very worried about the Skynet happening and everything. But I was thinking about this this morning that maybe we just need computers to just fix everything. Like there's so much debate right now about healthcare. What's the best plan? What do we do? Like we need to just build a computer, and then the computer can just tell us what the best healthcare plan is, and then we all just have to go along with it. It's like,
I
okay, well,
agree.
look, this computer said, look, the computer crunched all the numbers. This is what it says. We just have to do this now.
And here's
Yeah.
the thing: a lot of people are going to come back at you, Rob, with the argument, "Oh yeah, well, what if the robot gets people killed or the robot starts a war?" You'll say, "Yeah, so humans have done all of those things.
Yeah,
How
you know
how is
what?
that
Yeah,
any worse than what we're doing now?"
The political parties are too out of whack. They need to let's just focus on building the computer. I know that, well, now who builds the computer? Look, that I don't know. But we need to figure out, just make the computer. The computer can tell us what to do. And then everybody just has to live with the decision the computer made.
Look, if the computer on Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is any indication of how our political computer will be, we have a lot of hope. Because when asked to find the last golden ticket, it pointed out that the humans were cheating.
Yes.
And so
Yeah.
that's kind of an encouraging sign that maybe computers in the future will also keep us in line.
Yes.
They will.
that's-
And also-
that's why we should have a robot government, Tyson.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm down with that. Also, here's the other thing. I just thought of what type of creature we can all put our brains into.
What's that?
We should get one of the animatronic creatures from Showbiz Pizza, and we can all put our brains into one of those.
What's Showbiz Pizza?
Do you mean Chuck E. Cheese?
Chuck E.
Those?
Cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
What,
used to be
those
called
rodents on
Showbiz.
Yeah.
It used to be called
Okay, I thought
Showbiz
you were
Pizza
gonna
when
say
I was
like
a
the
kid.
Hall of Presidents at Disneyland.
But we could do that too.
Yeah.
Which president? Like one of the lesser known ones?
That would be good. I mean, I think Lincoln would probably be the most iconic.
How about
you
this,
think about-
guys? How about we
Okay.
get our brains put
Mhm.
into a satellite? They get shot out into space, and we broadcast for eternity until we're found by another civilization and turned into gods.
I think that
You
happened
think they're gonna
in
turn in-
Star Trek: The Motion Picture.
Okay, well then let's Star Trek our brains out into the infinity.
Yeah, just send
and
it out.
beyond?
Yeah, wherever.
I'm
it
okay
goes.
with it.
Okay.
I mean, how would we
Okay.
get the new news stories that were happening though?
Well, they're gonna shoot them with lasers from
Ooh.
Earth to our satellite.
Yeah.
But
So
will they be as timely as we've been?
you're right. They won't be,
Breaking.
breaking news, but they will be breaking for the section of space we're currently in.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So
it's news to them.
yeah.
Okay. We talked last week about Pizza Hut has a new pair of shoes that allow you to send a Pizza Hut pizza to wherever you are. Many of our listeners sent us this story about Domino's Pizza has countered by launching a wedding registry where brides and grooms can register for Domino's related items. The gifts range from somewhat making sense in terms of a giant meal to cater to a bachelor party, or more confusing entries like a pizza called Bust Out the Fine China, which is just the description says that this pizza will look exquisite.
Hmm.
Okay. Tyson, the
Yes.
Domino's wedding registry, domino'sweddingregistry.com.
Oh, I'm looking at it. Looks nice.
Yes.
Ooh. Can we
any
register to
reason-
Can we register to
What-
get the Pizza Hut shoes on there?
No.
Oh.
Right.
Okay. Any reason? What? Remarry? Is
Yes.
this reason
if
enough to
if you
remarry?
married, would you tell people you registered at Domino's?
Yes.
So what is the, how does it work?
Because-
If it's a registry, do you get like a gift card, or does the pizza immediately go to the bride and groom's house?
Oh,
I'm sure
can
you get a
imagine you
card.
get married and on your wedding night there's like 5,000 pizzas there.
Dude, you could make love on a bed of pizzas.
Ooh.
Hmm.
How special
Sold.
would that be?
That would be really special. Sorry, there's a dog barking around me somewhere.
That's okay.
It adds some texture.
Right.
Here's the thing. This is what I kind of like this idea, but what I really want to hear is about Domino's catering for weddings, because wedding food is absolute garbage. But if we could get some Domino's in there, that's real value.
Wow. Okay. So you must go to some bad weddings, Danny. That Domino's
Yeah.
is an upgrade from the food at the wedding.
Yeah,
Well,
you don't
first
go
of
to
all,
fancy weddings?
Tyson didn't invite me to his wedding. I bet it was fantastic.
It was.
But every wedding I've been to, they go with these catering companies that make slop, right? They might as well put it into a trough and have all the guests come
Yeah.
over and eat out of it with their
Yeah.
faces.
I agree on
We
that.
didn't
part.
have
It
anything
looks
catered.
fancy, but it's not actually good.
It's not, but I would go for Domino's. I'd go for chicken wings. I would go for, a lot of these fast food places make food that is both cheaper and more delicious than the expensive catered food.
Hmm. So
I
you
don't
think
know.
like even like a Mickey D's registry would be something for you?
Well, I'm not looking for the registry. I'm looking for the catering.
Yeah.
I think Domino's should cater weddings. I think that's
Okay.
more.
Here's the business idea of the day. Since
Yeah. Domino's
Fast food is so
catering for the
cheap.
weddings.
no, since fast food's so cheap, we start our own business where we'll cater to any fast food restaurant.
Okay.
You choose.
So-
We go buy it. We show up. We charge you double for it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I like it.
there we go.
And
Yeah,
we
I
cut it
think-
into little squares. We make it look
Yeah.
attractive.
Yeah, I think this is a fun idea. I do think that there's a lot of this like with food trucks right now where, you have like a party and it's like, oh, I have a food truck that's like making these types of like fast food type entrees to give to people, and everybody's really excited because it's good. So like, what would it be? Would it be burgers though, Danny?
So you'd have your choices. Obviously, pizza would be ideal because you got a lot of variety. You can cut it up into tiny little attractive squares.
Yeah.
And so I think you have a lot more to offer than maybe a burger. I think burgers are a little bit more difficult. I think
They're
pizza's
tricky.
tricky.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Burgers are tricky because some people like different things on their burger.
Yeah.
But you can do like French fries. You can do a lot of finger foods too, like that. Mozzarella sticks, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Mm. So delicious, rather than that
Oh,
garbage I get fed at
Are we
weddings.
taking it out from the store, or we're making it at the wedding?
No, we pick it up, right,
Yes.
Tyson?
yeah, we go pick it up. We go pick it up and just bring it to the venue, to the wedding venue.
Yeah.
And we make it look beautiful.
Yeah, we
I'd
can,
do
or we
that.
can just not. Either way, whatever they want.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I don't know about this idea.
I think it's
Whoa,
gold.
Rob.
I think it's a gold-plated idea.
I'm not convinced
Yeah.
yet on this one. I don't know if
Rob,
I
who did
wanna
you
go
have
to a
cater your
wedding
wedding?
and have McDonald's, and I don't know if I want to be getting
Well,
married.
if you're a
and-
Wendy's man, obviously you're not going to be pleased with the McDonald's catering. But like, what if it was Wendy's?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, if I guess I had the choice between like really lousy wedding food and Wendy's, I would go with Wendy's.
Yeah,
Or
everyone
Arby's.
would.
Yeah.
Yeah, Arby's is about on par with the current wedding dishes.
Right.
So here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking you don't even take it out and present it. I think you leave it in the containers, because when you take it out and present it, it shows that it's been handled. That's a turnoff for me.
Yeah,
I think if
that's
you're just
true.
like, here's your pizza, it's still in the box, then you're like, oh, thank goodness.
Let me
Imagine
just
if
tell
you
you.
got a bunch of those
Let me just
personal pan pizza.
let me just explain to you, Rob, why this is such a great idea. Nobody ever goes to a wedding and says, I can't wait to see the food. Or if the food shows up, everyone's excited. But every time you go anywhere where there's pizza, you got to admit the excitement level in the room goes up a notch or two when the pizza shows up. There's legitimate excitement for pizza.
There's science behind it.
There's science behind it. There's little to no excitement when people see a bunch of chafing dishes with those little heater things underneath and see this looks like prison food being kept warm on those stupid trays.
Yeah. Yeah, you do make a compelling case when it's really bad wedding food.
Well, I haven't had anything but really bad wedding food.
Yeah.
My own wedding food was gross. Well, it has.
I've
pretty-
had
it-
good wedding
it was-
food.
No, let me change that. My wedding food was as good as you can get with wedding food,
Yes.
but a lot of the other ones I go to aren't as great.
I've had really good wedding food one time that I remember being like, wow, that was really good. And it was catered, but it was like some like pretty highbrow catering, and
Yeah,
it was
and-
delicious.
But if you saw
And-
pizza, what would you have thought?
Yeah. If I saw pizza at that same wedding,
Yeah. What would you have eaten?
I would have tried the other stuff because it looked really good.
No.
But and the other stuff was better than pizza. But in my own wedding, we went to a nice restaurant, so that was different.
Yeah, that's
I like
good.
that.
That's different, yeah, than
Yeah.
getting it catered. But
So
most
how
of the
about
time,
this?
yeah,
Why don't we
pizza.
cut out the middleman? Why don't we have weddings at McDonald's?
Sure.
Okay. Yes, definitely. They have that place you can probably rent.
Yeah, it's good for the kids.
So yeah, okay, I'm in.
Okay. All right. This is a story that was sent to us by many of our listeners as well
Yes.
about a student in Arkansas who was pulled over for drunk driving because they had a brake light out. The license plate said juggler. And so to prove his sobriety to
Batman
the
villain.
police, the young man began to juggle bowling pins, and it was all caught on video. So, Tyson, how impressive is this? And should drunks be learning to juggle?
Well, first of all, juggling is never so impressive that you wish you had taken the time to learn to juggle, I don't think.
I mean, this man
like
has a bowling pin on his nose in this picture.
Okay. Yes, you're right. I'm surprised he's not surrounded by a bunch of women in bikinis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it possible that the police officer was such a fan of juggling that he saw the car with the license plate juggler and just pulled him
Yeah.
over to see what
I
was
think he
going on
probably
there?
mistook him for a Batman villain. He's like, the juggler. Finally. Finally,
you
we've
right
got
where
him.
We want you, juggler.
Does this mean that other states will be putting in their sobriety test the walk the line, the touch the nose, and then you'll also have the option to juggle or ride a unicycle?
Yeah, like, is there a talent portion of
Yeah.
the interview, like a beauty pageant?
Yeah, I'm going to probably just wear a sexy dress whenever I drive so I can get out and just
Evening
do like the...
Because there was
yeah.
there was
That is
recently that story of the cheerleader who got pulled over and tried to do her routine, and it did in fact expose her drunkenness because she was
Yeah.
unable to complete it.
Well,
Mhm.
I think that a high functioning drunk could still get through a juggling routine. I mean, you have to imagine those guys that work for the circus are like drunk 95 to 100% of the time.
I think the real test is to say, okay, dude, you did that with bowling pins. Here's some chainsaws.
Chainsaws. Okay,
Yeah.
now we're going. I mean, so you can
And
juggle
now give
and
yourself
get out
a hot
of getting,
fusion while juggling.
So if you can juggle and get out of one of these tickets, like where does it end? So like, okay, stand-up comedian, can you get out and do your act, Danny?
No, because alcohol is an important part of stand-up comedy. So it doesn't work.
Okay. Tyson, podcaster, can you get out and perform a podcast for the police?
Also, no.
No, why not?
I mean, we're probably the only 3 sober podcasters in the industry.
Hey, I am drinking Coke Zero. We don't know what's in this.
Yeah,
So
that's true. Well, we know it's not a lot of goo.
Yeah, we know it's goo-free. Well,
so are there any other skills you could perform for the police, Tyson?
For me,
Yeah.
personally, I think, man, no. I think I just have to take my chances with the nose touch thing. I don't have any like skills. I could stand on one foot, but that's a part of the test anyways. And that's not a real skill of mine, but I know I could pass that.
Danny, what about being a contortionist? Could you like put your body into a pretzel? Would that impress the police?
Or into a little box.
I think it would impress them, but I don't think it proves sobriety because you probably want to get liquored up so you can be loose and free when you try to contort.
So when your joints pop out, you don't really feel them.
Yeah.
Tyson, what about one of these guys that like swallows light bulbs and then regurgitates them? Would that be able to get you out of a ticket?
I think maybe the sword swallowers would more.
Yeah, I think you're getting closer to an activity that might get you out of a ticket.
Yeah. Could get you out, but not get a guarantee.
Yeah.
So juggling, not even a guarantee. I think those high functioning alcoholics, you still gotta breathalyze them and test their blood and stuff.
You get pulled over, right? Hey, we want to check. We think you're drunk. You go to open up your trunk to get some stuff out. I don't see a cop being like, "Oh, this is cool. Let's see where this goes." I see you getting shot with a taser or a gun.
Yeah, I mean, so from what I understand, I watched a video about this, so that the officer had already concluded that this guy was not drunk. And then I think he said to him, "Hey, what's in your pocket?" And I think,
fusion.
Yeah, and I think it was a bowling pin, from what I understand from the story. And then he said, "Well, let me show you what I can do."
Whoa!
And that's how he began this routine.
This sounds like a movie that should be made.
Yeah, I don't understand why you'd have a bowling pin in your pocket. He definitely had something in his pocket, and the police officer said, "Hey, what's in your pocket?"
Well, let's go through the scenario again. How many girls in bikinis were there?
0.
Okay, so yeah, there's a high chance that this dude has a bunch of juggling stuff in his car.
Yeah.
Just based on the fact that there were no girls in bikinis around.
Right.
So
you're saying that juggling is the ultimate turnoff for women, Tyson?
I'm saying it's one of the ultimate turnoffs for women. Yeah.
It's the ultimate birth control. You wear sandals with socks, you juggle,
and then get a vanity plate.
I have to ask, we have a number of women who are watching the show live. Can I get just a quick focus group? Is juggling a major turnoff for women? Because this is new information to me. And it doesn't make any sense why I'm not a juggler then at that point. Let's say
you have the choice between Guitar Bro and the Juggler. I mean,
Guitar Bro.
Guitar Bro is a turnoff too? I thought that was a big hit.
Guitar Bro is a big hit.
That's what I'm saying. You're
on the opposite end of the spectrum.
Yeah, you're having an option of Guitar Bro or Juggler.
I don't know where star or a juggler
and a unicycler.
Kelly said yes. Is that yes? Yes, it is a turnoff.
Yeah. I mean, Rob, did you marry Nicole because she's a fine juggler?
Look, guys, I need to point something out here. If a guy can juggle, he proves that he has some dexterity in his hands that maybe comes into play in the bedroom.
No, false.
False? Okay.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, can you imagine? I think that if there was a girl juggler, I would be interested just more as a joke so I could introduce her as a juggler.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Kelly in the chat says that the juggling is a turnoff. NTSX23 says Tyson is such an anti-juglite.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, no. You're not getting the juggalos on me.
Yeah, the juggalos are coming after you.
White jug light. Tyson, you'll
Yeah.
carry that forever.
Oh no. It's not that I hate juggling. I'm just saying
I
that
don't know.
juggling is not the most.
And what's your take on magic, Tyson?
I love magic.
Love magic, yes.
But in an ironic way, it's the same. Like, I love jugglers, but also it's like the more because it's hilarious that somebody spent time to learn this skill.
So now
So-
the ultimate birth control is juggling, socks and sandals, magic tricks, unicycle. I mean, all those things will make sure that the members of the opposite sex do not get pregnant.
Yeah.
Ironically, all things I can't do. So I feel somewhat better about myself.
So instead of going in and getting our vasectomies, guys, we can just learn to juggle.
So if you were juggling your way to a convenience store, if you were juggling
milk in there somewhere, but I can't find it yet.
If you were juggling your way to a convenience store, do you think the clerk, if you went in and asked for condoms, would be like, "You don't need these, bro.
Yeah. Save your money.
Save your money. You don't need these."
Okay.
Yes.
Maybe
The clerk
I'll
was
ask
smart.
Nicole on Snapchat later. I'll tell her that I'm going to get juggling lessons and see what she says.
Tell her that you've been finding new ways to impress her, so you hired a juggling coach.
Yes, that's perfect. Okay. Did you guys ever do the Where's Waldo? Danny, were you part of the Where's Waldo craze?
Oh yeah, I remember Where's Waldo.
Okay.
Yeah, this is my favorite book to read.
Yes. Well, this is a story sent to us by Matthew Douglas Joseph Murphy, who says that there was an article in Slate or on Slate that has studied every Where's Waldo book and determined that as of the most recent book, who knew they were even still making them, Waldo is now 80% smaller than he was in the first book on average. Tyson, is this concerning to you that Waldo is shrinking?
In what sense?
He's 80% smaller than he was when he
Whoa.
first came out.
The micro.
Yeah, I don't think
Waldo.
so. I think that's fine because you would assume that with each book he'd get a little more difficult to find, and one of the ways to make him harder to find would be to shrink him down. Shrink him down, busy up the pages, put him like, sometimes he's like partially hidden and stuff.
Yeah.
I think you have to do that. I think that's also for the different skill levels because as a 4-year-old and you have the big Waldo, yeah, that's the trick. But as those same people are reading the books over and over for their book reports, you got to advance them. So when you're, a senior in high school and you're writing your thesis on the Where's Waldo, the latest Where's Waldo book, it better be a little more difficult.
Danny, is it possible that Waldo, with age, is also shrinking, as we've seen in many of our elderly citizens?
It makes sense, but I don't see his ears or nose getting bigger. Like if
He
that was
does
the case,
walk with a cane. That could
He
be a
does.
sign of some osteoporosis.
His arches,
but we
his
should
arches
see,
have flattened.
yeah, we should be seeing more hair and nose hair ear hair and nose hair coming out. We don't see that. At
He's
what
wearing
point
glasses?
At what point does he become so small
Mhm.
though that you just become frustrated and you don't even bother with the book?
Or the books come with a magnifying glass. That adds another element to
Oh,
the
yeah.
search.
That'd be exciting.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. All right.
He's
well,
just a pinprick on a page until you get the jewel magnifying glass that's like this long, like 2 inches tall, and you can look through and it's only a pinpoint so that it takes a long time to find. Dude, never mind. We're starting a book company, guys.
yeah. But a
Where's
book
Tyson?
company to do what?
To make these Where's Waldo knockoffs where they're microscopic and they come with the magnifying lens that's like a pinprick of clarity through it. So you can't like get a whole broad picture of the page through it. You can only get one tiny thing. You just have to scour the pages for that thing. And then here's the kicker. We don't even put the little guy in there. So they're looking and looking and looking.
Yeah, that's gonna result in some bad press, Tyson.
Well, maybe we could design the book so that after like a certain amount of time, he appears on the
maybe we
page
should do
with
like an
magic
iPad
ink.
version of Where's Waldo, and then we can run ads while people are looking.
Like make people feel like they're going insane because they wake up one morning, he's actually quite big in the left corner.
And he's
They're like,
there.
how did I miss him all this time?
There the whole time. Yeah. I went to a costume party in college for Halloween one year, and I was Where's Waldo. And the best part of it was then, like, when people got pictures after the party was over, it was very fun to find where I was at any point in the party.
The gift that keeps on
hide in
giving.
the back.
Yeah, it was good. All right.
Really
and then
great.
One other story that I've got to talk about. Of course, it's provided so much fodder for us. The Nordstrom store, and really the Goop.com. They're consistent winners here on News AF. Stephanie Bourgeois sent us this. I almost said Nerdstrom. Nordstrom has a $95 pair of jeans that they're called Clear Knee Mom Jeans. They are a light wash capri jeans with clear plastic panels over the knees.
I'm
Why,
looking at
though?
them right now. There's something else.
Yeah. Well,
Is it-
will you be buying a pair of these for Rachel?
I almost got on and almost ordered a pair for her as I saw the story pop up in our Facebook group, but I couldn't. I was like, the clear knees. Your knees have to probably get sweaty with the plastic on them.
Yeah.
Right. Just to paint the picture for those of you guys who are not watching the YouTube version, if you want to see this, you can also watch this YouTube version of this episode at youtube.newsaf.news. So where the knees would be, almost like where you would have like these kids' jeans where there's like a big like patch of like reinforcement over the knees. Instead, there is like a vinyl clear plastic there, so you can see the person who's wearing the pants. You could see
It's a window.
their knee and lower thigh.
The shower
it's
curtain.
a window. It's
Right.
it's crazy. I can't imagine who came up with this idea.
The
and
description
if they've
says-
sold any.
Slick plastic panels bare your knees for a futuristic feel in tapered and cropped high waist jeans.
Do you
So
want to
that's
see
the
anybody's
future?
knees? Aren't knees one of the least attractive parts of any human's body?
Knees
Unless
and
they're
elbows.
sexy knees.
There's no
What
such
if they're
thing as
sexy
sexy
knees?
knees. They
Well,
don't exist.
yeah, there is too. If you got like a nice muscles around it and stuff, you can get some
I guess
sexy
you could have a
knees.
muscular knee. I
How
mean,
do you have a
Like
muscular
some quads, like your quad muscles, like just align with your knees perfectly. My
Look,
knees
if
aren't bad.
knees were
Looking
so
at my
great,
knees,
there would be people that have knee fetishes. Nobody has a
Yeah,
knee
that's
fetish,
true.
Tyson.
I've never heard of a knee
you
fetish.
can't say that. Just because you haven't heard of it doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
I mean, I'll Google it. I don't know if I want to have that on my search history.
Google it. Google, I have a knee fetish.
Okay. The only thing, let's see, under knee fetish on Urban Dictionary, that they define a knee fetish as finding one's knees so irresistibly and sexually attractive.
As to create hot fusion in your
Yeah, but that's
pants.
just the Urban Dictionary entry. Like, there's no like, a million links to like pornographic sites or anything like that.
Yeah,
Are you on the dark net or the regular?
I'm on regular.
Okay. Okay.
I'm with
Yeah.
I'm with Rob. I don't think anybody out there is like, oh yeah, look at those knees. They're so bulbous.
Right. I think that
Okay.
maybe it's like I guess if somebody was trying to say like, okay, well, I've shaved my legs, like you can see, here's proof. It's too cold for shorts, but I just wanted to show my legs in my knees in some way.
I'm trying to think of any situation where this would be beneficial to have the plastic. I can't.
Yeah, I
There's
can't.
nothing-
I can't
no
either.
reason.
I can't think of any positives for this.
Yeah,
I
the
guess
ri-
if you were going to be like kneeling a lot outside and it was
No.
too cold for shorts, and then the knees, you don't want grass stains on your jeans, but the vinyl, you could wash it. You could just like take a
Oh.
paper towel or some
Okay.
Windex and clean that. Maybe is that the utility of this, Tyson?
Yeah, and actually, if you were
I
to
guess so.
upload the ninja skills, right, you're going to be kneeing a lot of people in the face and neck and rib area. Blood. This will make cleaning the blood off of your jeans a lot easier after you've uploaded the ninja stuff to your brain. So I guess that's a benefit.
That's true.
And then why
Yeah.
are they selling them as mom jeans, Tyson? Like mom jeans is something that you would want?
Yeah, remember they used to call mom jeans boyfriend jeans, and all the girls bought them thinking that they were boyfriend jeans when really they were just mom jeans. And
Why
now
were they
they've
called
just
boyfriend jeans? Like they're your boyfriend's jeans, or you'll get
they're
a
your
boyfriend if
boyfriend's
you wear them?
jeans. They're your
Yeah.
boyfriend's jeans.
If
And
these are
so-
real mom jeans, these need to be the entire pants need to be an opaque plastic to cover you from all the spills, vomit, boogers, piss, crap. The whole thing needs to be plastic to be a real mom jean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're saying this is a fake fashion mom jeans?
Yeah, this is like someone who doesn't really know what kids do to jeans. They're like, oh, most of the stuff probably just falls in the knee area. No,
that's not
Okay.
true. Okay.
Yeah.
Danny, what do you have for us here in the bolt hole?
Well, you've given me the perfect segue to my article. There is a practice taking place among the American wealthy known as counter signaling. Any guesses?
Counter signaling. So that's when you go to the counter and you signal what you want.
Yeah. Well, no, that's not what it means, but that was a good guess. Counter signaling is when you go out of your way to show you don't need to go out of your way. So the boss doesn't have to wear a tie or even dress up, or mainly the article's about how rich people are dressing down.
Mm-hmm.
How, it used to be that you wore a tuxedo all day,
Right,
and you had a top hat and a cane with a golden top or a lion on top. But now
that's why Tyson wears a tuxedo shirt.
Yeah, right.
Mhm.
But now the counter signaling is people like Bill Gates or Elon Musk or Zuckerberg, how they don't dress up. They're trying to counter signal with what they're wearing to say, hey,
Right. And it's the poor
I'm so
people
rich
that are
it doesn't
dressing
matter.
up because they want to look like they have money.
yeah, the
Yeah.
They're
poor,
posers.
exactly.
Yep.
But the poor
And they
people
don't
are
know
dressing
how. Yeah. And I've always dressed down. So now you can't get a read on me at all.
Mm-hmm.
I sat by a guy on an airplane who would travel with a suit, like a really nice suit, in his carry-on. So what he'd do, he'd go change into it at the airport before he checked in, or he'd wear it to the airport to check in, hoping that he'd get upgraded because he's dressed so nicely.
down.
He said it worked like 50% of the time they'd put him in business or first class. And
There is a downside to counter signaling, though.
okay.
If the Tyson's kind of point out what it is. If you're a rich guy and you go into a store with like a high-end store like Tiffany & Co. or maybe Armani, and you look like a bum, you're going to get shunned because nobody knows who's rich and who's poor. So you could be a billionaire, but you look like a bum, and it's just, you're not going to get that treatment that I think you're used to.
Yeah. We are used to it.
Yeah. It's a good point. So Dan, should we be is counter signaling effective?
It depends on what you're trying to do. You're trying to look like you're one of the people, it's effective. If you're trying to buy a Ferrari and be taken seriously, it's not very effective. So maybe have different clothes for Ferrari buying, and then another set of clothes that you wear when you're just out at the movies. That might be the best way to go.
What's the ideal scenario to counter signal? Like you're, very rich, but you want to go to IHOP?
Oh, then definitely you're wearing stained sweatpants and maybe like a college
Clear
football.
knee sweatpants, maybe. Even.
Clear knee
No,
sweatpants.
those are designers. Those are $95.
Well, not the mom jeans. I'm talking about clear knee sweatpants.
Oh, sweatpants. You made them yourself with saran wrap
Yeah, I'm
and
gonna
old
have
sweats.
artists design a pair of those for me.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, it's up to you. You just don't want to dress for success. I don't know if the saying works anymore in this day and age. So don't dress for success. Dress for like you failed.
Not success. Dress for not success.
Dress for failure.
I read something recently where just that the standard outfit for everybody has just become athleisure, Tyson.
Yeah. I've seen a bunch of videos and everything about it. And that is partly true. Yeah.
Well, there was a great video of those girls. It's a comedy group, I think.
Yeah, I saw that one.
That was perfect. That was spot on. Nothing else needs to be said about athleisure or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
It's like they wear it with the idea that they will exercise at some point in the day. Maybe they've given up on even saying that, but then they just wear it all day, and everybody thinks they're going to exercise, but nobody ever does.
Okay.
Because exercising is stupid.
Says the man who spent 20 years of exercising every day. So I think you're qualified to make that statement, Tyson.
Yeah, yes, I think so.
All right, one last story, Tyson.
Yes.
Do you think you could go back on Survivor and maybe win it 3 more times? Is that something you could do?
Yes, easily.
Because if you did that, you could afford a 250-acre town in Oregon, complete with a school, a store, and 6 houses.
What?
Yes, it's a paradise. You could call it what would a town be? Tysondom? Tysonroni?
Paradise. You can just name it
Tysonville?
Paradise.
Oh, paradise.
Tysonville.
How about Paradise? Does that work?
Oh,
And here's the best
that
part.
does work.
It's all set up for the Tyson cult. You've got a school to educate the people that you bring in. You got a store to feed them with.
Yep.
I think it's just a perfect setup if you wanted to start a cult. So
Okay.
this
Is there a
this
post office?
No, but the post
don't need
office
that.
is irrelevant. Yeah, this is the
Yeah.
1950s. You don't need a post office. So anyway, if you're interested in, if any of our listeners have got a cool $4 million out there and they want to spend it on something rad, buy a town, right? Whoever thought they could buy a town. It's got a river. It's in the mountains. It's secluded. You could set up a militia there or start your own cult. It's a great
That
opportunity.
sounds really great.
Yeah. How much is it? Do they say?
$3.85 million.
Okay.
You
so
can do
there'll
it
be
too.
some guys, walking in their pajamas to buy that town, right?
Yeah, you just go in your sweatpants, drop a suitcase full of millions down on the counter, say, I want that town. Maybe start a podcasting camp, Rob. That could also be something you could do.
Okay. I like that idea.
There's lots of stuff to do with a small town.
Can the small town be run by an government of robots, Danny?
Yeah, you could do whatever you want.
Yeah.
You need
okay, sorry, everybody. The robots say that we have to do this. So, that's look, they figured it all out. They crunched the numbers. My hands are tied on this. So
what it could be, Rob, is a place where you could do that. You could have a little experiment of your robotic utopia, right? And you can prove the concept works. And then you can turn around and sell it to the American people.
Because the robot has no ego, and the robot won't say well, this is really the better idea, but my political party doesn't agree with this. So
they don't need money or power or furthering their political career. They don't care about that stuff.
The robot isn't affected by lobbyists or anything like that. So
I totally
you don't
agree.
have to sell us. I'm on board.
I'm on board. The robot doesn't need a BJ in the Oval Office.
Yeah,
the robot can't be bribed.
Right.
Yeah,
I like
need any hot fusions.
Right.
Can we get a robot into the 2020 election?
Probably. It'd be tight. We could see if we get the Scarlett Johansson robot finished up by then, but they got to keep getting distracted with other features.
Oh, you just let the cat out of the bag, Bob.
She's gonna need legs. Because when she stands at that podium, people are going to be terrified if all they see is kind of like a spine-like thing.
First, she needs legs. Then she needs clear knee mom jeans. And then I think we're off to the races. And then press her down.
Should we shorten her arms up a little bit or leave them that long?
Were they really long, her arms?
Yeah, they were extra long.
Okay. Well, that way she can not only coddle babies for pictures, but also
full adults.
Which
even obese American, yeah,
she could just cradle a beast Americans in her arms. That's a great photo opportunity,
right? And then can we upload consciousness up to them? Could we get Lincoln and Gandhi and all sorts of the world's greatest leaders?
Yeah, but then I feel and us too. Yeah, but I feel like that's when we
don't need to be any part of it.
Wait, Rob, it's not just you; it's your consciousness. It's part of a huge tapestry of intellectuals who get uploaded into this robot.
The vice president robot will be the Chuck E. Cheese animatronic with our brain in it.
Showbiz
our
pizza,
brains
you mean?
in it. Showbiz Pizza.
Okay. All right. So what's the
Rob, you've never heard of Showbiz Pizza?
Never in my life.
Well, when we have our News AF get together, we'll probably have to go.
All right, fair enough. Yeah. We'll do our 100th episode from Showbiz Pizza.
Hashtag can be Showbiz Pizza or Hot Fusion.
Or what about anti-Juglight?
Yeah.
Or anti-Juglight.
I do like that one.
Okay, anti-Juglight it is.
Yeah, anti-Juglight. Well, how do you spell that?
I have it as ANTIJUGGLITE.
Okay, all right. That's what I thought.
Anti-Juglight.
Let's do that.
For people like Tyson. Very intolerant of the juggling.
Yeah.
I'm not intolerant of the juggling.
Yeah, it sounds like you are.
You're just not
You
going to
were
win
juggle
friends
shaming,
juggling.
Tyson.
I was
Tyson,
juggle shaming a little bit.
if you see a guy juggling, Tyson, do you walk up to him and just knock everything out of the air?
Yeah,
Swat
nice
at
try,
him?
buddy. We're not
Yeah.
impressed.
Not here,
Not
buddy.
impressed. You'll never get a girlfriend now.
Yeah.
Tyson's going to force all the jugglers to go to this town in Oregon, and they'll
Mhm.
create a juggling paradise where they
Right.
can juggle
Why don't you
without
marry
Tyson.
your own kind, juggler?
Yeah.
Okay. Tyson, are you able to access any of our new reviews in iTunes?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been
Even
hot
from
spot
San
this whole
Diego.
thing.
The internet is amazing.
Yeah. It's really, really amazing, Rob, what you can do with the internet now. I'm surprised you didn't know that, how amazing it is.
Yes.
He couldn't find
Okay.
anything on his knee fetish, so he is a little disappointed.
He was on the regular net.
No.
I was
wasn't
on
even
the
on the
regular
dark net.
That's right. Okay.
So, okay, here we go.
NewsAF.news.
Newsaf.news. Okay. Here's a long one.
Okay.
I'm just going to go into it without even really knowing.
Okay.
Here's a couple. We'll do highlight of the week, 5 stars by M. Austin. As a teacher, I deal with teenagers and their antics every day. This podcast is like sitting in my classroom listening to my students talk. I often laugh, but just as often I roll my eyes at the antics of these 3 genuinely funny guys who are almost as funny as I am. Oh, shots fired. Okay, we'll have to try to be funnier.
Well, I have no doubt.
Here's another one.
Lots of people funnier than us.
Mm-hmm.
Really, I think I'm the funniest person in the world.
Wow.
Okay. You guys don't agree?
I think you're up there.
Yeah, I think maybe you're in the
Thank
top 10%.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty good. That's actually when I was born, my mom always said that. She's like, the doctors were like, he's in the top 10% of funny.
Oh, I didn't know that's a measurement they do at the pediatric office.
Yeah, they do. Here's another one. Best podcast ever, 5 stars by Salt Mine CEO.
Okay. Go. Well,
Are you looking for a
go?
Yeah, the CEO's listening in.
Yeah.
Are you looking for a podcast named News AF? If so, your search is over. This is by far the best podcast named News AF in the entire universe. It's so amazing that even the Mandela effect got a piece of it. Danny, host of The Bolt Hole, has always been old and fat. We all remember him that way. But not anymore. If you go back and check all the video versions, he was never old and fat. It's like we have entered an alternate reality where old fat Danny never
I could have
existed.
sworn Danny was old and fat.
Yeah, wasn't he old and fat? I can't wait to find out what happens next. Keep up the good work, guys.
Let's get a show started called Danny and the Fat Danny in the High Castle.
Yeah, okay. I like that one. That was a good one.
All right. Well, great stuff. Of course, you can send us in your submissions every week, either in our Facebook group, Group AF, easy to find on Facebook. Just find us and we will let you in. And then if you share anything that is too unseemly, we'll kick you out of the group. That's how that will work. And then you can also email us tips@NewsAF, where our team, including NewsAF intern Lita, will go through and curate all of the stories for the show each week. And again, big props to NewsAF intern Lita and to Scott St. Pierre, who edits the NewsAF podcast. Tyson, anything else coming up for you this week besides San Diego?
Nope, I'm going back home on Thursday.
Okay.
And that's that's it.
So if people are in San Diego,
Nothing
they
else.
should look for you for the next couple of days and then go back to looking for you in Utah.
Correct.
Okay. Tyson, Danny, you are one of the people that will be looking for Tyson, right?
I'll be at the airport with a banner saying, "Welcome home, Tyson." and
Tyson, will you
family.
be 80% smaller than you were when you were last in Utah to make it harder for Danny to find you?
I'm getting older every day.
Tyson's pretty tall to begin with, so it'll take a while before he shrunk so small I can't see him.
Yeah, at least 80 years.
Yes.
It'll be a while. Okay. All good stuff. Fun news AF today. We will be back again next week when I will be coming to you from New York. Hopefully,
Ooh.
there will not be more snowstorms or anything like that. Well, that will prevent me from getting out there for our next live podcast at Caroline's coming up next week. So excited
Wow.
for that. Have a good one, everybody. Take care.